Next approach for the 4-minute entry.
What do you think powers the French team? Do you think they just eat baguettes?
I heard it's frogs.
Frogs?
Frogs, yeah.
Interesting. I don't know what host family is preparing those every morning.
I have no idea. I don't know where they get the frogs from.
Thank God.
Umpire 1, Umpire 1, this is your wing for your entertainment listening pleasure. Over.
For this next start. Flight number 5, Ranger Smith Tours. We're going to get 6 flights in. What time of day is it? I'm in the pre-start side. I don't know what time it is. 3 o'clock, so we might even get more. 2 flights for sure. You think he'll push for 7? Be a long day. Anything can happen here in the Congressional Cup.
So we've got about 30 seconds until their entry here.
Ryan, bring us up to speed real quick in the next 28 seconds on the current scores.
All right, current scores across the board. Undefeated Chris Poole, 4-0 so far on the day. We've got 3 teams with 3 points. Bjorn Hansen, Dave Hood out of Long Beach, and Cole Tapper are your top 3 teams with 3 points. With 2 points, Eric Monin, Peter Wickwire. 1 point each to Yanni Bernson, Ian Guerrera, and Nicole Brault, and Rocco Attili is still looking for his first win of the day here.
Perfect
Yellow
timing.
is down
Into
below.
the pre-start. It's Galetta to the right, Monin to the left, Breeze is up, still flat water, very maneuverable conditions. Which side do you guys like looking upwind?
Holding.
I back the right. It seems
below.
I might back the left then.
Holding. Up.
Why can't we agree on anything, Zach?
Aiming
Pick her up
map.
on that.
Aiming
Just
wheel.
take the opposite of what she says. She gives you her
Blackout.
basically slim pickings, whatever she leaves on the table for you, the scraps.
He can have my leftovers, no problems.
All right. 3 minutes, 25, the countdown. Both boats into the dial-up. Monin to the left. Monin was really good in that light air, as expected. He's kind of had to shake off a few losses now. We'll see if he can get back on his winning form. Double round robin, a lot of sailing left to go in these first 3 days of qualifying in the Congressional Cup, as all teams look to make the top 4 semifinals.
Yeah, so we see these boats kind of dialing up here. So we'll see, often you see the boat on the right-hand side kind of bail out nice and early when they're feeling like they might lose some of the flow. And if they lose flow, suddenly they're going to stop in the water. It's really hard for them to get out of a bad scenario. So often you see that right boat just kind of controlling what's happening for the first little bit. And the whole point of the left boat is to try and break that control if you can.
Yeah, and Monin's done a really good job at that. He's just extending out as far over to the right as he can to get out of that danger zone. Once again, we don't want to be anywhere near Coffin's Corner.
And let me just ask Marilyn Cassidy, our local weather expert, which side of the course do you like if you were entering this pre-start?
I got to go with Tiana on this one. The right looks really good.
Thing,
I just see, even as you look above our current race course, there just seems to be more and more and more velocity coming down on that side. I wonder, too, if we might start to see the wind shift a little bit in that direction.
That means you and I, Zach, have to double down to the left. We're just going all on red. Just roll it, roll it. See what happens. Live by the sword, die by it. Thank you, Marilyn. 2 minutes to go. We're blocked out. We can't see what's going on, but you can. This is where you guys tell some more jokes because you're hysterical. You got about 30 seconds. Go for it. T. You know what? A mouthful of Aussie jokes the whole day, and then when you put her on the spot, it's silence.
Well, maybe get her on to Canada again. That seemed fruitful.
Yeah, I can't repeat some of my jokes, so...
That's a good comeback. So that's a really getting back out there. You got 10 seconds before we start to see the boats again. Anything else? This is your chance, Zach. To shine. Your chance to shine.
See, well, what's been really interesting about this venue here is we have these kind of boats that are sitting out here on the right-hand side of the committee boat, and what we call these are like a jet out of jail free cars. So when they're sitting here on anchor, they will come what we call instructions. So instruction is something that you can't hit, and I think it's quite a good thing that we can't hit them, otherwise we'll just be taking out things left, right, and centre. I mean, we saw Pricey a couple of years ago take out a couple of lampposts.
First point.
So, I mean, as Aussies, we try not to hit things if we can.
You should get a selfie at post point.
Sometimes we not have to.
Isn't it funny that we have to write in the rules not to hit things?
You know what? That is a pretty deep thought. You have to wonder about that. In America, we have to write everything. You can't even spill coffee in your crotch without suing someone. So apparently, yes, it has to be written. Or else you get sued. Back into the pre-start, thank God. 30 seconds to go. We can see the boats coming towards the line. Goretta Tellurd in the lead. as the clock ticks down over
Clear,
Monin,
clear.
who looks to be
Clear half
behind
boat.
and potentially in a rough position. 18 seconds to go.
Yeah, I'll be backing Greta here.
Clear
I mean,
4
he's
meters.
closed the gap
Clear
really
3
nicely, and it
meters.
seems like he's going to prevent the other boy from getting hooked. We've got 11
Clear
seconds
3
left on the
meters.
clock, so I'm backing Greta. This is going to be a
Blackout.
classic start for him.
Yep, Goretta's got Monin pinched and boxed up there to windward, plus his bows forward to the left if that's what he wants. I like the breeze. On the front of his boat, there's the gun. Now, Monin did a good job there, just taking a little bite at the
Fire
last
one,
round up
switch
there to
to
be able
channel
to
2,
live.
please.
But for how long?
Yeah, both boats did a really good job of being on the line, on time, with speed, which is really hard to get all three going. But advantage, I would say, is to Monin, who can defend that right-hand side.
Ready to check. Over. Loud and
So
clear wing.
the
Thank you.
aim of these two boats going off. So Mon is trying to prevent Greta from tacking, so he wants to sail the other boat all the way to that ley line, whereas Greta wants to try and burn off the other team so they can get that tack in. So it's going to be a game of just whoever can kind of last in for the longest.
I like Monin's form. Less heel. You
Is
can
that a
just see
skipper hiking I can see? Surely not.
there's a lot of them on that boat. They're small. You can't tell. But look at his heel angle and his pace. He's just motoring forward. I think that's time in the boat compared to Goretta, who's first time in the Congressional Cup. Look at the heel angle as he slides through. He should be closing gauge and trying to force him on and off, right?
Holding
Yeah,
below.
and look who's crossing on port from the start.
Holding below.
Oh, Tapper
Holding
up
below.
against
Up
Dave
below.
Hood. This will
Up
be a good
below.
one.
Up below.
So we'll have old
Up
versus
below.
new here, which is going to be quite an interesting one. So Hood's got heaps of experience, but I mean, the younger crew and Tapper, we're going to see what happens.
It's a trans-Tasman battle here because Hood's entire crew is Kiwi. Pretty much.
I mean, what's a team without a Kiwi or an Aussie on board?
I agree. I'm actually curious to know how many Australians, like what the percentage of Australians of the competition there are.
I thought you were going to say to change a light bulb. Sorry, there's a different joke I was thinking of.
No, I don't know that one. I don't get it. Can you explain it to me?
No, I've never changed a light bulb. Back into the pre-start. Head to wind. 3 minutes, 14 seconds the countdown. Keep an eye on that battle going off to the left. I'm impressed that Monin's able to live there. That's not going to give us a good idea of which side's favorite because they didn't get the memo from us.
So maybe we're just right, and they both want to go out to that left.
You and I are right, even when we're wrong. We covered this.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The ladies are never wrong.
Yes, dear.
That's true.
It's like an infusion of energy. Aussie energy just showed up like sticking your finger in a light socket, and all of a sudden 2 Aussies showed up and really woke up this.
Send it back out to the race course,
You guys
though,
gotta
because
stick
Tapper
around.
is pointed in a dangerous direction right now, sort of forced over there by Hood. Let's see if he has the speed to get out of it.
Was Monin finally forced to tack away, or did he give it up? One of you was paying attention. It wasn't me.
I was just thinking about how I'm always right. So
Oh, there he goes, the Achilles heel. Okay, back into the pre-start, folks.
Yeah,
2 minutes 20.
Looks like Tapper's done really well here and kind of escaped with speed, and Hood looks like he's quite slow. So you'll see Tapper just try and extend, and maybe have the opportunity to jive back and try and get Hood again and see if he can not hit him, but look like he can hit him.
I tell you, look how relaxed his body language is, too. I first met Tapper last year. He was new to this. What he has gained in skill level and confidence in the past year since the first Congressional Cup, and I mean that across all of his sailing, you can just see how confidently he's performing so far. The results show it. Meanwhile, Hood, in his 4th Congressional Cup, arguably has more experience than every other team combined on the Catalina 37. We get blocked out here, minute 40.
except for Steve Flam, right? 37 congrats.
Steve Flam has done 75 of the 60 Congressional Cups.
That's right. That's right.
So we see Carl coming back towards the pier. Now, he wants to kill as much time as possible, so he wants to kind of come in with nice and control, whereas the other boat kind of wants to push them really close to the start line and try and force some error. So you see them kind of battling off this pier area, and of course not hitting the pier, and making sure we're not inside these kind of orange buoys, or buoys as you call them.
Buoys, yeah.
An orange boy grew up to be president. That's a different different story. But buoy, we call them buoys over here. There's a U in there. There's a U in there. 1 minute to go. Who's it? The lead at the top there. Is that Monin? Let's go around ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So it looks like Monin was able to hold Goretta all the way out to that ley line and pick when they wanted to come back, not when they were kind of forced to hand.
And again, I think that was more time in the boat than anything else. He just sailed well enough to not get pinched off. Meanwhile, Hood is leading back towards the line. 38 seconds to go. And Tapper just comfortable to hang back there, and I find that a bit surprising.
Yeah,
There's so little time.
Yeah, see, it's a bit of a trade-off you got to do. So whether you want, so especially when you have more time to kill, you're happy just to push and try and get them into Coffin's corner. But when you don't have a lot of time to kill, you actually want that kind of win-win with gauge is what we call. So a little bit further to the right of the boat and have a really nice lane so you can do what the other match did and hold them all the way out to that left lane line.
And now if you're Hood, what's the goal here?
Close that gauge as much as you can. Try and make it as hard as possible for Tapper to live here. But Tapper is coming in with a lot of speed. 6 seconds left on the clock.
I think Hood just kind of opened the door. Tapper comes in with pace. Beautiful job there. He's going to have to tack away, but he had more speed, and he's going to have starboard tack advantage as Hood puts the bow down, our local champion. He likes the left at this stage, and it's going to be a split. First time we're going to see which side will pay off upwind.
I promise I'll pay attention this time.
This is 3.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. It depends what you really want to do here. So if you want to kind of force the boat kind of out left, you can come in like they did with speed and try and get really, really close to them with kind of what we call VMG plus. So a position where maybe your upwind towards the top mark speed is not that great, but your boat speed's really high. So you're able to kind of prevent that boat from tacking with you and kind of come in with lots of speed, throw a really nice control tack in there, and then force them out to different areas. So especially if you like a particular side, you might try and force that other. Otherwise, if you want to go left, that's when you want to start with kind of like a windward with gauge position.
I lost you there, but...
Yeah, me too, actually, but I'm glad he finished. That was, I hope everyone else picked up something, because I know what you said was correct.
Someone got something from it.
Oh, yeah, thank you for that.
I'm kidding. That was very informative.
And accurate. Bjorn Hansen on starboard. Match number 3, three-star Rocco Attili.
Up, below.
Hansen fresh off that very close win over his countryman, Yanni Bertson.
And Rocco with 0 wins so far, but we should never doubt the Italians, because they're quite sneaky.
Really?
I think we don't have Megan Thompson on Rocco's boat today, so maybe yesterday's incident could be, getting to them a little bit.
Like Kiwis and Aussies on board. It has to be.
0 Kiwis.
Big and tough competitor. She sailed in this event before. We know she sustained an injury in practice, so we wish her the best. It is dangerous sailing these boats when the breeze is up, and it certainly was the day they were out. So unfortunately, she's not on board Rocco's boat. That, as you say, might have made the difference.
Yeah, it's definitely rattling to see a friend get hurt. Looks like we're going fishing.
Who's that yellow spinnaker? Monin.
Yeah.
Monin's still out in front.
Blue going astern.
So what do you think you're trying to fish for?
Wing clear towards channel 2, please. Over.
He keeps going back to the weed thing. Have you noticed that? It's like a theme.
It's because we don't have it in Australia.
And there's not much of a shrimp situation out here in California, so not sure.
Yeah, so we have a really interesting scenario here, just to bring it back to the race.
Please do, yeah.
So we have Attili and Hansen trying to come back at each other. So the interesting thing is when they fall out like that, if you're changing direction, you have to give the other boat an opportunity to get out. So every time you move, they have an opportunity to get out. So what you really want to do is aim at them and stick your helmet straight so that you're likely to hit them without moving. Whereas if they constantly move, then it's always going to be a green flag, and really it's just kind of like a non-issue, like a zero-sum game.
So if I'm trying to get a penalty on you, but I'm moving my bow, I'm altering course, it's never going to work.
I'm not going to say never, but unlikely to work, yeah. So what you really want to do is line them up and then just keep going straight, like your steam train, and try and, again, not hit them, but look like you can hit them.
Give us a referral.
Minute 40 seconds to go. Hansen just to the inside there, pushing Attili away from the line. Breeze just softened up a little bit here in the pre-start off to the right. Kind of like Hansen here.
So we're looking at the other races up here. It looks like everyone's trying to get to that right-hand side. So, Dee, you might have been right.
I did have some insider knowledge tell me that it does clock right all day, so I was just hedging my bets.
Although you both sailed the Figure Cup, we didn't really see that right-hand Long Beach wind machine turn on in the way that sometimes happens this time of year. So it has been a little bit of an unusual spring.
I wasn't here, but it sounds like that was a different weather system.
Hello?
Yeah, we had a little bit of storminess. It rained the day, did race committee, lots of drama.
It never
Couldn't
got
you
too
see her
crazy.
like on the 5 o'clock news? You know, just doing with the green screen, pointing to things that don't exist and telling you what weather fronts are coming. And
Hello?
here we go, folks. There's
Contact.
38 seconds to go as the boats head back towards the line. Did we have contact? Thank God we're going to bring Kirk back into the game. You know there's going to be some penalties flying.
Contact.
And we'll see who they go against.
Yeah, so the thing is with contact is that suddenly you're kind of forcing the umpires to make a decision of who was right and who was wrong.
And you don't want to put it in their hands.
No, absolutely not. And actually, it could even be, it looks like they're holding a yellow flag, so Hansen was in the wrong. So this is major change. So
and just 10 seconds to the start trailing as well.
Blocked out from seeing it earlier there. But look at Rocco Attili. He's just spun things around. He must have heard you in the pre-start there. Now comes into the line. Bow forward on Bjorn Hansen. Beautiful start, up to pace, and Hansen has a penalty.
So Rocco just wants to keep everything smooth, steady, and controlled here. He doesn't need to do anything silly. If I was Rocco, I would just follow and match Hansen here, which he started to do.
Looks like Hansen just throwing a dummy tackle in here, which is quite an interesting move.
We saw him do that in the previous match, so it must be a favourite of his.
Kurt, come on back and explain to the audience here what happened with that yellow flag penalty that Hansen now carries.
That was a Windward Lewis penalty. Windward vote didn't declare a yellow penalty.
Thank you, sir. So Hansen trailing and looking to get rid of the penalty.
Yeah, so with that dummy tackle we had at the start, it's actually quite an interesting move, and it's quite a difficult one to do really well. Now, the risk with the dummy tackle is that you might actually slow down your boat a lot, and as we talked about before, it can take minutes for the boat to get really back up to speed again. Whereas the other team, when they throw a really nice tackle, it could take much less time.
Yeah, for sure. So it looks like we have Bjorn entering and... Sorry, my 26-year-old eyes are failing me. Nicole Blow entering at the boat.
That's happening way too early, trust me.
Yeah.
At least another decade for that.
Looks like Grayson might have this downwind cross situation happen. We've seen what we haven't seen for, I think, a quarter.
I don't know, and you're right, he's done it.
Balfour needs to be careful with some weight on the bow. I don't know if anyone can see that.
Up on top of the race course, we see Eric Monin in the plethora of businesses spinnaker, that yellow spinnaker. Leading the Durant Construction spinnaker and Ian Guerrera. Special thanks again to Mary Voigt on these beautiful multicolored spinnakers. If you raced with us 5 years ago, you would have seen the same color on every single boat, and you would have seen Tucker with a pair of binoculars trying to see who's who as we come down the race course. So great change here. Thanks to all of our spinnaker sponsors. I'll run through them really quick. Club 100. Durant Construction Design, Visit Long Beach, we've seen them out on the pier today. Plethora of businesses. American Integrated Services, that red spinnaker on Yanni Burson's boat. Rocco Attili is in the Farmers and Merchants Bank spinnaker. The Port of Long Beach has that black spinnaker with Phil Tapper. Chris Poole, who we're going to see shortly in the Long Beach Sailing Foundation spinnaker against Peter Wickwire, the Cabrillo Boat Shop. And the purple spinnaker, my favorite spinnaker, because that is the spinnaker of the Grand, and they are going to provide us great food all weekend long.
Thank you, Ryan, very much. Bringing our weather girl back into the picture here. What's going on? Mid-afternoon, 3 o'clock, Con Cup, and the breeze is getting lighter.
Yeah.
With the sun out.
And I know. Okay, this never happens here. Isn't that what they always say when you go to a new venue?
That's why I asked, because it looks weird. There's some sort of transition going on. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I don't have an answer for you there. I'm just wondering if maybe there's another phase coming in soon. There is a lot of cloud cover out over Point Furman that could be affecting some of the breeze coming from the west a little bit. I don't know. I'm sure the race committee's keeping an eye on it too. Maybe they'll tell us what's going on with some mark moves soon.
All right, let's bring you two back into the pre-start, guys. Nicole Brell leading Yanni Berntsen in towards the line. Plenty of time, minute 30 to go.
Yeah, so it's really interesting here with this pier that you try and want to protect it, but you don't want to go inside of here. Otherwise, that would be an umpire-initiated penalty. So what we see here is actually Burns coming with a lot of speed, getting the hook on Nicole, but it looks like she's kind of breaking it. Both boats doing very well to try and attack and defend each other. Looks like a Yankee flag from Bernstein, calling on the umpires to make a decision. Looks like green flag, no harm done.
Yeah, with less than a minute to go now, Nicole's in a bit of a tight spot here. Bernstein is in a very controlling position. If I was Nicole, I would not want to be there.
Especially with these other boats trying to finish here. I mean, they got heaps of boats in the situation here. I mean, boat 8, although they've just finished, they're still on starboard, so, I mean... It's quite
blackout.
interesting when these other boats come to a finish when we're trying to start.
Absolutely. You can see Bernston has really good boat control here. He's just extending to get some speed and then hopefully coming back with just under 30 seconds to go now.
Yeah, Nicole's looking slow, isn't she?
Nicole looks dead in the water.
So what we'll probably see here is Bernston kind of tack over and time his run really nice, try and come with maximum amount of speed and just focus on himself at the start, I think.
Your wing has the
I'm
pin.
surprised Nicole didn't try and get speed earlier because she's having to dip the line now.
The start line will put herself into confidence.
Very interesting to see how this
Fire
as well.
5.
The inside is stalling the breeze.
Yep,
Is it
open.
likely there will be stronger breeze unobstructed from the left?
Yeah, I mean, it totally can happen.
I would say I'm guessing will be the first to fall out.
We've about it before. If you have one penalty, you don't have to clear it until you finish. Whereas if you get two, that's when you have to do one immediately. Or if you get a red penalty as well.
It looks like Bjorn's splitting the gate, so he's going a different direction to Rocco. He's just
Clear,
hoping for a
clear.
Hail Mary at this point. He's hoping he's going to get a better shift than Rocco and is going to have enough time to complete his penalty
Clear, clear.
hopefully on the upwind or probably at the pin.
And one as they head downwind.
Although, looking back on the start, not much happening. I mean, this pre-start pull has absolutely parked it out of those waves there. Wickwire's got some speed. Looks like he's in nice control. We look up the Aussies for the black and the kind of orange kites as you were talking about before with the Aussies versus Hood. It's all happening really here. Heaps of action.
And then on top of that, the breeze not doing what it should, getting lighter rather than heavier at this time of day, unusual.
Cole's jibed back again.
Yeah, I think the move here is to try and slam a jibe right on his air and try and kind of take all the wind out of the spinnaker. If you see those kites start to collapse and kind of lose all their wind, you'll see the boat really try and slow down. So that's the whole point of Cole, just trying to make Hood's spinnaker collapse like it's starting to do now. You can see it very unstable, but will it be enough?
Well, it was good positioning, but the control of the kite through that for the black spinnaker wasn't really that strong. And he is affecting his opponent, Hood, but it's too little too late. I mean, Hood could pretty much just soak down and drift over the line. He's going to have this match, much to the delight of the Long Beach Yacht Club. Well
Clear.
done, Dave Hood.
Let's make
Hood's
some
not in the lane.
noise.
Back out.
Back into the pre-start, Chris Poole.
Clear.
Being
Clear.
pushed by Wickwire. We've got a minute to
Clear.
go to the start.
So with quite a bit of time
Back out.
left, Wickwire's really trying to push Chris Paul into that kind of coffin's corner left-hand side, whereas Chris Paul's trying into the win position, keep attacking him going down.
And he's done it now, hasn't he?
Exactly.
What side do we think Joachim would want?
I think Joachim might want Karen go to the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you think Chris wants to go to the same direction?
Whatever Joachim says goes. That's the tactician on Poole's boat. Joachim's done, well, let's just say everything right the past 2 years.
So we've got just more than 20 seconds to go. Looks like both boats are on the line.
And Poole's just stitched Wickwire straight head to win. He can't even spin his transom.
That was incredibly close. Any
Wickwire,
contact?
I don't think so. 10 seconds to go. Wickwire is in big trouble here. Meanwhile, Chris Poole, if he wants the left, he's got it. He's just going to wind up full speed to the pin. Crew's going to hit the rail, and it's going to be a great start for the reigning Congressional Cup champion. Meanwhile, Wickwire was over the line, slow, going the wrong way, and has to tack and come back and clear the line. Other than that, it's okay.
I think he poured a bit too much maple syrup over his breakfast this morning.
Yeah.
Bit sticky on the line.
The wheel's a bit slippery. Yeah, Chris did a great job there, on the line, on time, with speed, which is what we're always trying to achieve here.
And off to the left. Left side looking good. Here's another question for our local meteorologist here. What's going on with the different shade of color in the water here? And how does that affect the race course?
Yeah, so that may be related to some of the current that we were talking about earlier. So there is a very slight west to east current. We're looking really south as we look down over the bay. So there's maybe a little bit of current activity happening there. It's really not very much current at all, though. It's hardly going to affect the racing.
Okay. And so when they get out of it into that darker water to the left, any difference at all? Or As Chris Poole's boat just starts to wind up a little bit as he gets out of it?
Yeah, so there may be some effect in this amount of breeze. And it looks like there's less of an effect if you are on the right-hand side of the race course, so that might be another reason that folks are picking one side or the other.
And Tiana, your favorite color, leading downwind, Yanni Berntsen in the red spinnaker. Who's that over?
That's Brawl.
Oh, sorry, is it?
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay. Oh, yeah, thanks. It's tough to tell whether that yellow spinnaker is yellow or yellow.
So Nicole is, to windward of Yanni at the moment, but she looks quite fast and low, which is not a bad position for her right now. Is she coming into the finish here?
Yeah, it's good.
I think that this is their first lap, if I'm not mistaken, for Brault and Berntsen.
Everyone give the wave to Tranquila, if you can. Hi, Ian.
It's Quila. Tranquila.
Oh, sorry.
Quila is like maybe a Aussie way, but it's a Spanish pronunciation is Tranquila.
We pronounce all the letters in words.
Match three.
Enough. Strike Yanni, or she thinks that, or as well as the right is going to pay off here. She doesn't want to split and get too far away from Yanni in this match.
But she would tack away there, and Yanni Berntsen tacks to stay with her. Still light across the track here.
Match three, have a wing.
Yeah, Yanni's doing a good job here of putting in match racing. I think often it can be really easy to split unnecessarily. So Nicole's just doing a good job here of staying in contact with Yanni.
So here's a match, Hansen and Attili coming towards the finish. It's anybody's guess at this point. Attili has been ahead. Hansen on the attack. He's in a good position to affect the Italians'
Match three,
boost.
overlap.
It's an exact copy of the last race we saw with Cole coming down.
Do we know if Hansen...
I believe that there's still a yellow flag up on their umpire boat, so I think so.
Yep, can see it from here. Unfortunately for the Swedes.
So Rocco's in a really strong spot, I think.
Yeah.
So the idea with Rocco is to try and protect that right-hand side of the course, because the right-hand side, you'll come back with starboard advantage. Dave Hood's coming by. Hi, Dave Hood.
Spinnaker is collapsing for him, though. Hansen now pulls bow forward, but... Again, sorry, he's not ahead.
If I was Rocco, I would just be sailing my own race here. Hansen really wants to get Rocco caught up in everything that's going on to try and get a penalty on Rocco. What's a way that Rocco could get a penalty here, Zach?
So if he hit them too aggressively, so if they came on the inside too quickly and luffed them up, that could be a penalty on them. They do have to give way initially to the boat to get out the way, but from then on it's game on. So although Hansen is crossing that line first, I think Rocco's going to come away with a win here because they have to still be outstaying on penalty.
And there it is, blue flag. Rocco Attili wins the race.
Congratulations,